So, without getting into any further details, I just want to be explaining to you a bunch of things which will make you a better musician and will kind of make you grow. Now, there are some people who think that growing as a musician could mean financially growing as a musician with the band, which is also one kind of growth. But the most basic form of growth for a musician would be still, even in this era of social media, playing your instrument. And there is no bigger growth and no bigger satisfaction than playing your instrument and growing on it. So there are a bunch of things that you have to consider if you want to be growing as a musician on your instrument and getting better at your instrument and getting more proficient at your instrument. uh, One of those things are you have to make sure that you are practicing. Obviously, it's a very cliched thing to say, but everything, to get good at anything in this world, you have to keep practicing it. And practice would mean doing it over and over and over again till you get bored of it, or practicing it till a point where you are unable to get it wrong. It just becomes so second nature to you, and it becomes so much of a part of your psyche that you don't have to really get conscious while playing a particular piece of music. Another way of growing is don't play stuff you already know. If you are playing stuff you already know, you're kind of already in a zone of familiarity and you're in a zone of comfort. So that is not going to take you any further than what you know. So to grow as a musician, it's very important to get into unfamiliar territory. And if you're not good at a particular thing, it's important to target that particular thing to be able to get it right. Now, that could mean just taking a new piece of music, just listening to a new piece of music, and practicing it over and over and over again till you get so familiar with it that you start enjoying it. Or just taking a sheet of music in front of you and just reading through etudes or staff notation or something like that, something that you're not good at, something that you're not familiar with, because unfamiliarity causes discomfort. And it's and a discomfort causes a certain ego reaction in us. It's like, oh, I can't play this properly, so it's kind of hurting my ego. And I think that is very important. I think that jolt to your ego is a very important thing which music does. So make sure that you're working on specific music that you want to be playing and that you are not familiar with, and that will take you out of your comfort zone. uh, and the last thing that I want to tell you is stop watching clickbait videos. You see these clickbait videos on YouTube which say 10 hacks to get better at so and so. Sorry about that. That was just like a glitch. My phone memory was full, so I had to delete a few videos before making this new one. So yes, getting back to clickbait videos, I think clickbait videos hurt a musician's growth more than anything else, and they probably hurt the musician's growth more than random noodling. You know what random noodling is? Random noodling is when you're just playing some random notes which make no musical sense whatsoever. They don't establish any, musical principle. They don't, follow any particular rule. It's just, randomly noodling with notes, and that achieves nothing, in my opinion, because it it's you trying to fill in the gaps when there are gaps of silence. Say when you're jamming with your band and a song gets over. Now between one song and the next song there is, say, a 30-second gap where the band sits to discuss something, or someone's trying to tune something, or some instrument. You try to just play some notes to fill in that void of silence. and I think that's a very bad habit to have. That obviously stalls your growth as a musician. Even when you're just sitting in your room and randomly noodling, you're not going anywhere. You're just trying to say gibberish, but it's not establishing any statement. So that's a bad habit. And also clickbait videos will not take you any further, because these clickbait videos are meant to play on your insecurities, you know. They work on this principle called FOMO. So yeah, it essentially works on this principle of FOMO, which is fear of missing out. And it often comes in these tiny little packages, like three things you need to know, you have to know, rather, not you need to know, you have to know, otherwise you're not going to make it, kind of thing, you know. And that is playing on the insecurity of a musician, and that is basically just catering to a certain trend that is going on right now. But trends keep changing every 5 years, every 6 years, every decade. So that is something which will keep changing, and there's no end to that. But what is going to be permanent is your grounding and your rooting in the fundamentals of music, your understanding of the nuts and bolts of music. So those clickbait videos must be avoided at all costs, because there's no limit to just randomly scrolling on these YouTube channels and continuously finding these clickbait videos. These clickbait videos are doing no good. Musicians in the olden days, for example, and I'm not trying to compare old and new music, this is not the point of the video, but I'm just using this as an example. Musicians in the olden days, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have any of these social media devices. So the only point of comparison they had, or the only benchmark of comparison they had, was the musicians who played with them, or their contemporaries or their peers. And because of this, and because of the absence of social media, they were more in touch with the reality of the instrument, and they were more in touch with the mechanics of the instrument and how it works. And of course that created a lot of virtuosos in the 20th century and also the early 21st century. But my main point here being that these clickbait videos are creating a hindrance, and not a physical hindrance. They're creating a mental barrier, that you have to be working on these things and not on the things that you genuinely need to be working on in order to become a good musician. Because these clickbait videos will keep telling you that there's a quick hack to doing certain things to be able to get good at a particular thing on your instrument. But the reality is that the only way you're going to get good at your instrument is by actually practicing the stuff that will make you better, and practicing the things that you don't know, and practicing the things that are unfamiliar, practicing the things that will put you out of your comfort zone. And that takes time. There's no shortcut to that. There can be no quick hack. It's not like fast food where you just throw it in the oven and it's like done. This takes time, and it's a lifelong process of keeping at it. And reels is another thing that you would want to try and avoid, because reels are just 15 seconds of glory, and who knows how many takes and retakes and editing the person has done before posting that reel. And when we try to apply that to a real life scenario of playing, and we are not able to play what that person is trying to play in the reel, we tend to feel depressed, or like we tend to feel very inadequate. So I think this culture of seeing a reel and feeling inadequate as a musician should be avoided at all costs, because it's lowering your vibe, it's lowering your progress, it's causing a mental barrier, it's causing a hindrance in your progress. And also a lot of the stuff that's posted on on reels is just gymnastics. There's a lot of gymnastics involved, and not any specific musical idea as such. And those gymnastics are not even applicable in like a real life scenario. You might not even use 2 or 4% of what you're playing in those reels in a live performing scenario with other musicians. So reels is something that you must stop getting programmed by, and do not feel that you're any less of a musician if you're not able to play something that someone's posted in a reel, especially when it comes from that space of making a musician feel scarce, or making a musician feel inadequate, or making someone kind of wanting to quit his instrument. It's not coming from a good place. So that's the bottom line of the video. Stop getting programmed by things that you see on social media. Find your own path, find your own voice on the instrument, and try and work on that path and practice your ass off and get good at that. Yeah, so let me know if you guys agree to these views. These are not my views, these are views that a lot of people subscribe to. These are views that a lot of musicians from the past also have subscribed to. I don't want to make this about myself. This is not, this is not something that I've invented. This is not something new. I'm just like putting out my thoughts and opinions about this topic. So please let me know. Please let me know if you agree with this. Please let me know if you disagree with this. Both um, you know both sides of the coin are acceptable here. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Stop getting programmed, and take care.